So what would you get if you crossed a DMR handheld and an Android smartphone? The answer is the RFinder M1.
And now, HamRadioConcepts presents another exciting amateur radio video, keeping ham radio operators informed with a thorough look at the new products. Now, here's your host, Eric, KJ4YZI.
Hey everyone, Eric with HamRadioConcepts, and you're looking at probably the best purchase that I've ever made in ham radio technology is the RFinder M1 ham radio smartphone. If you have seen my little teaser video or my post on Facebook, this thing is a game changer. A complete Android 6.0 phone, a powerful phone, a submersible drop-proof military standard phone that incorporates a software-defined DMR 4-watt transmitter inside. This one here specifically is the UHF DMR version. It'll do analog 3.2 watts on UHF and DMR digital at 4 watts. But now you can get these in FM versions on VHF only analog, or I think FM digital. But I chose the UHF DMR model. And if you're not familiar with RFinder, basically RFinder is an app of a worldwide repeater database. It's not just an app, it's online as well. But the RFinder brand shows you quite possibly the largest list of repeaters in the world that you can see based on your location, and shows you all the frequency and the tone and all the aspects of the repeater. And the cool thing is now that Bob has integrated custom software on this device with his app in order to allow point and click programming on the DMR or analog on this radio. So there is no more code plugs. There is it's just as easy to look at the repeaters in your area on the list based by GPS, find one that's in your area like this, K4CPJ Vero Beach, and basically clicking on it and setting the radio to that. You don't have to worry about what's the tone. You don't have to worry about the offset. It's done. DMR, the same thing. The color code, the talk group, all of it's in there. This is I'm impressed. What I'm going to do is, being the first video on YouTube to show you the M1 from RFinder, we're going to go in and out of it. I'm using this daily as my phone. I've tested it a while, and the coolest thing is that I have Bob, who the creator of this, as support. I mean, there was a couple little quirks, honestly, and I worked with Bob a couple times, and Bob said, "Oh, we'll fix this, we'll fix that." Bam, released an update and it was fixed. I mean, you get support with this. You're not having to communicate to a third party in China who's selling devices that don't know what they're selling. I mean, he wrote the software for this. This is his creation, so he has the ability to fine tune it and offer support. And that's pretty much the reason that I spent the money I did on it, is because I have support for future updates, for future ads and improvements. And that's going to make the device, up to date and not have to worry about buying another one a year from now. So let's go into a complete in-depth review of it. I want to show you a few key features. The RFinder app and how powerful that is. I want to show you on-air testing. I'm going to use my hotspot and show you some audio. This thing is loud. I mean, and talking about a loud radio, if you're out in the field or driving with your windows down, this speaker right here is loud. I mean, you don't have to worry about this thing not being heard. Let's talk about the phone for a minute, the phone in itself. Submersible, again, look at the screws on this thing. Look how many screws are on this. This thing is like bolted together, and the case design keeps it waterproof, submersible, drop proof. It really is a sturdy unit. Looking at the top, so you have a channel indicator. 16 channels. Now, the channel indicator really wouldn't be used through the RFinder app. There is another Chinese standard PTT app on here that you can set 16 channels on, and change the channels with the knob on the top. The SMA, this is a male SMA on the radio, so with threads. So you'd use a female SMA antenna, which it comes with. This antenna here, a standard antenna with a SMA female on it, a UHF antenna in my situation. The red button on top, not used at this time as far as I know. That's for a programmable button for on top, but we're not going to be using that. On the right, let's go to the left first. So the left, there is 2 PTT buttons, okay? Your SIM slot and memory card slot up here. This does use a micro SIM card, a micro SD, as well as a nano SIM card in here, okay? Now, I will tell you, this is one major thing that has to be closed in order to keep the submersible waterproof, is that the rubber grommet here. You have to make sure it's closed. 2 PTT buttons. So the radio PTT button would be the top one here. And there's a second PTT button, which I could show you a glimpse. If you're familiar with the Zello app, you can use this similar to like a Nextel with an app that's totally not related to RFinder, but a free to download app for friends and nothing to do with ham radio. But that's a second dedicated PTT button that can be used with a PTT app such as Zello or some other ones. On the right side, there's another button that looks like a PTT button. There's no use for that at this time that I can see. I don't get any response from it, but maybe it can be assigned for a third app. So you have three buttons. Power button here. This is what a lot of people asked about. The charging port. The charging connector is not a standard USB. It's not a standard connector at all. In fact, the charging cable here, which I have, is a magnetic 6-pin connector. You see that there? So it's kind of like, I think the Apple MacBooks use that magnetic connector. It is capable to put this connector on. It's got a USB on it. That's how you charge it. But also you can connect to it on the computer and download stuff to the SD card and do updates and stuff like that. So it doesn't have a headphone jack, in case you're wondering. But from what Bob has told me, they are going to have accessories for a headset and possibly Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth, PTT functionality with this. So that's going to be a proprietary magnetic with a screw hole there connector for the RFinder for additional accessories in the future. Your regular buttons on the front here, your home button, back button, and that would be your menu button. Okay, so the bottom connector where the battery is, you can take the battery out. Again, this is another major waterproof connector that you have to make sure, looking at the door here, has the rubber seal. This has to be closed and locked in order to maintain its submersibility. Here's the battery I'll pull out and show you. All right, so that's got like a nice fit in there, but that is a 5200 milliamp battery on here. So this thing, I'll show you, lasts a long time. In order to have the DMR or FM or analog transmit, as well as use it for a phone all day, you're going to need a battery that lasts. That battery really is a huge capacity battery that it lasts a long time on here. I haven't killed this thing in one day yet. Looking at the battery here, all day. It's 9:03 p.m. I used it on RF all day. Used it as a phone all day. That's the battery I have left. Doesn't even have a red X. Basically, 7:30 this morning to 9 o'clock at night, using it quite a bit. And boy, that battery really does hold a charge all day long. That's 4 watts of DMR, using it sometimes at 1 watt with the hotspot or low power, and using it as a phone all day. So the microphone is down here on the bottom right, is your microphone. So you have to make sure with the waterproof of this phone, the microphone, you don't talk in the middle of the screen, you don't talk up here in the speaker, okay? You talk down here on the bottom. and that's going to make sure I have had no problem yet talking into that microphone hole and people saying they can't hear me. I know that with other brand name ICOM, the AC radios with the waterproof, they always had an issue where it sounded muffled. This sounds pretty good. You cannot, to my understanding, you cannot get a case for this, but you don't need one. It's got the belt clip on the back, so you don't, if somebody said, can I put an OtterBox on it? Why would you want to? The case is the phone. So with the belt clip here, clips right onto your belt and you're good to go. It does have a camera on the front, a 2 megapixel on the front and 8 megapixel on the back with a flash. And it does take pretty good video and photos on this thing. So let's look at the internals of the phone, such as the app and the software. As far as the phone here, we'll go in here to settings, about phone, Android 6.0 Marshmallow. So on a previous video, someone said, oh, well, we're up to Android 6 and 7. Well, you're on 6, and I'm sure that there can be a build later that will upgrade that. But Android 6, that's almost the newest version, and definitely has a lot of the features that you're familiar with in a phone. Camera, it's got a 8 megapixel on the back, a 2 megapixel on the front. Now let's talk about the cellular portion of it. So the cellular, from my understanding, I have T-Mobile, and what Bob has told me is it will do LTE 4G on AT&T. I don't have AT&T. A lot of people have asked the question, will it do 4G? Will it do LTE? When I scan for network operators, it does show me 2G, 3G, and 4G networks. With my T-Mobile, my Nano SIM card, by the way, uses a Nano SIM, won't show me 4G. Now, that may be a T-Mobile issue because Bob says with AT&T, it will do 4G LTE. Not a big deal. A speed test that I did on 3G on here, I was getting about 16 megabits down and about 5 up. So, not terribly bad for it being on 3G. So here you'll see the networks here. So it says 3G, 2G, 4G. That's Family Mobile. That's T-Mobile. That's what I'm on. AT&T 4G, Verizon 4G. So it will see those networks on here. That may be my T-Mobile that doesn't. So that's one big question a lot of people asked. Will it do 4G? My understanding, it will. The radio is in there for 4G. Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi in here is dual band, 2.4G and 5G. So it will handle 5 gigahertz network on Wi-Fi. In fact, if I go here, let's see, I'm going to run a speed test right now for you on Wi-Fi, because some of the older phones won't handle the fast Wi-Fi. So I have 75 meg internet. I usually get about 86. And 86 is on Ethernet. So I'm paying for 75. I'm getting 66. All right. 12 up, which is usually what I get all the time. So it does have the good Wi-Fi in it. So if you have a 5G fiber Wi-Fi, it will handle that just fine. Let's talk about the RFinder app for a few minutes. Now, this app is available in the Play Store, not only on a device like this, but on any Android or I think iPhone, I'm not sure. But the app is available and they have a website. So the RFinder app, first off, if you're not familiar with it, shows you all the repeaters and their information in your area based on GPS. That in itself is a necessity in ham radio if you travel. A lot of people just have 2-meter handhelds or dual band handhelds, and they want to always see the repeaters that are near them. And this list is a worldwide database that is updated constantly and goes by GPS. So you can see here, based on my GPS, closest repeater, 3.5 miles south. That's our W4PHJ Vero Beach repeater, and that's now a hybrid fusion machine, so it will do analog and digital. So clicking on that repeater, if I was traveling, would show me the offset, the tone, and all that. And you can set your radio to that frequency and information without having to Google it or go onto a repeater book and flip through pages. It's there. And the best part is I can click on coverage map, and with Google Earth, I can pull up the coverage map of that repeater and where it covers. This repeater usually covers really good. And look at the coverage on that. Okay, you can see how far you can get into that repeater. All right. Now, if I go back, it shows me, all the information on here. And with this device, now this is a UHF device, but if this was the VHF device, I'll show you. We'll go to a UHF repeater. Lake Worth, right here, 444-850. Shows me the offset, shows me a tone, shows me an IRLP number. And if it had Echo Link, it would show me that also. So if I click send to device radio, that's it. It's done. I can press the PTT button up here and I'm on that repeater. I don't have to worry about programming or code plugs or hooking it up to a laptop or anything. For instance, a DMR machine, here's one here in Fort Pierce, 10.9 miles west. So if I click that, it shows me the information, and if I hit send to device radio, it gives me the available talk groups that are on there. They have time slot 1, group code, or talk group 1 worldwide on there. I can click that, and that's it. It sends it to the radio, joined group time slot 1, talk group 1. That's it. And now I'm ready to talk on DMR on that unit. Another cool thing is that you see here Echo Link. So let's say you wanted to, this is great, I like this. Let's say you want to talk on Echo Link through your phone on that. You can click the Echo Link number, and it's going to open the Echo Link app you have on your phone. And there I go. Connected. That's pretty cool. So the Echo Link app is a whole separate entity here, not affiliate. I mean, it's not owned by RFinder or anything, but you can download the Echo Link app free. Now you can check in while you're traveling to a repeater. I can go right now through cellular and come out on the W4AKH repeater in Fort Pierce. That is pretty cool. All right. So the Echo Link, a lot of people are familiar with that too. So I can check out of this and check out of the Echo Link portion of it. All right. And in the app itself is so powerful. As you move and travel, it's going to update this list and show you the closest repeaters to you. So we'll go up here in settings and show you some other features of the app. So Android radio, let me go back to repeater list. Okay, Android radio. So this is where in the app you would use this to manually select or manually input any frequencies. If you want to operate on simplex, or in my case, a hotspot. I have my hotspot set to DMR, zoom in here, DMR 436 simplex to my Shark RF, my group ID that I want to talk on, and just hitting send parameters sends it to the device. That's it. Okay, so that's basically where you say, well, what if I have something I need to connect to or talk on simplex with it not being in the repeater list? You can do it right through the app here. All right, we'll go up here to also. I want to show you something that's a future update here. Brandmeister hotspot mode. This is phenomenal. Bob's working on this to allow this device to turn into a hotspot. So setting the receive and transmit frequency, radio ID, and such. If this were to work, or when they come out with the update, you can use the device on cellular or Wi-Fi as a hotspot and have all the people around you transmit into it onto the Brandmeister network. That would be awesome to have a phone, DMR radio, and hotspot all in one. That would be phenomenal. Okay, but as I talked to Bob, he said right now it's not ready yet. But again, a ROM update or a over-the-air update would fix that when he decides to perfect it. Another feature here, Echo Link nodes worldwide. Now, I can go into here, and this is so cool. I can look through sort through the Echo Link nodes worldwide. Okay, and a lot of people say, well, I want to get on Echo Link, but I don't know the node number. I mean, look at this. All the Echo Link nodes are in here. And we'll go back into repeater list. Okay, and again, the repeater list on your phone, whether you have an RFinder unit or not, I suggest you download it. And for best results, I purchased it. The subscription info. I purchased the app. It expires in 2018. This way, you get all the features of it, and it supports the hard work of the creator of the app, as any app does in the market. You paying for it gives you full features without the trial expiring, and supports it. Let's move on here. I mean, this is awesome. Let me show you the map here real quick. So the map will show you all the repeaters here. Here's all the repeaters in the area, and you can just click on one, and it will show you the mode, the frequency, and the PL tone of the repeater. Looking at the size of the phone, that's in comparison to an iPhone 6. Not a 6 Plus, not a 6S. The screen size is just about identical to an iPhone. As far as the body size is a little bit bigger. You can see that. Weight, of course, a little bit heavier than the iPhone, but that's a comparison. If you have an iPhone 6, that gives you an idea of how big the screen is. It's not small. So as I said, using the Zello app, so I have a PTT button here for the Zello app, so I can do this. Hey Dan, you listening? And I could use this. This is just a regular app for friends and family, but cool that you don't have to use the screen.
Hey, what's up?
You got a PTT button here. I'm just making a video real quick showing the Zello app for anybody that's interested. Sounded good. And that way you don't have to touch the screen. You got like a...
Nice.
It makes it feel like a walkie-talkie. So if you're not using RF on ham radio, you can kind of use the app for friends and family if you're traveling or want to keep in touch with someone that's not a ham radio user. You got another button here. Thanks, Dan. Didn't mean to bother you at work. Just wanted to show this real quick. All right, so pretty cool that you have a PTT button on here. And
yeah, I wish I had one of those phones.
Why is that?
This is annoying with an iPhone, turning it on and off all the time. So pull it out of your pocket, put in the password, and then open up the app.
Yeah, this thing sits here all day like a walkie-talkie. It makes it really, really convenient. So thanks. I'll get back to making a video. That was Dan. He is not a ham radio guy, but I can keep in touch with him like a Nextel. So if anybody asks about the internal PTT app that's built into here, the China-based one, well, this could be useful for frequencies on simplex or memories for hotspots. 16 channels that you would change with the knob on top here, and you can individually edit each one of them with analog or digital, the frequency, the offset, color code, repeater slot, and contacts. You can make contacts in here. So that, I would mostly use this for contacts such as, hotspot, parrot, something that's not in the repeater database on RF. And that could be useful for that. And then you have 16 channels here, high or low power. And the messaging on here really doesn't work. It does work, but you can't direct the message that you want to. The SMS over DMR doesn't really work. But this I guess comes with the ROM, but the RFinder that Bob has put on here is a lot better functionality than that. That was, without this RFinder app, the phone would be very cumbersome to use. So with that being said, we're out of time. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully you thought this was interesting. Hopefully you'll check this out on the web. The link is in the description. Thumbs up, share on Facebook. Let me know what you think of the video. 7-3 from KJ4YZI.